Hi everyone, it's SK95. Welcome back to more Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Last time, we managed to complete off Chapter 3, allowing us to get this silly little Nappa known as Tatsu, which people don't really like that much, but besides the point. This time, though, we're going to be doing some side questing here in New LA, because in order to get access to the next story mission, we need to actually do another side quest in order to do so, and we need to get Primordia 15% surveyed rate. Which means you basically have to do a lot of other things in order to get this thing done. Since Primordia has not basically done much, we can actually do this on our own. So, let's actually go outside and actually check out some side quests we can actually do, because believe you and me, there's a lot of side quests you can do in New LA now that you have access to being a Blade. Now, keep in mind, there are some actual information registry or byte info that can be found around the map if you need to find out characters and people in the map. It's actually really useful. Also, mission control. There is one mission in particular that I strongly advise you to get automatically, no matter if you're doing the mission yet or not. However, it's not here yet. Missions are basically random for these basic missions because you can never figure out which one's which. And besides that point, it's exhausting and tedious. New Orders, no matter what, is always the mission about the story briefing, no matter what. So in that case, let's actually get some missions that we can actually do on our own time and actually do so. Gathering missions are actually insanely easy, and it's actually pretty easy to do. Suit sweeping is, of course, another easy one. Meridium requests is a bit more obtuse in the beginning because it's hard to get Meridium up, simply because you don't have the access to do it. And besides that point, I generally try to get a lot of missions done as well as certain other things done. So, besides that point, we have to still get a lot of items as well. Now, you see missions that have Nocturne on it. Don't do them yet, because no, I swear, one of these days, I'm gonna have my phone shut off and never have to have it here roaring again. So sorry about that. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. It's basically me just trying to get everything done, and there's a lot of areas that you cannot get access to for a while, so let's not bother with it. Let's actually make sure we just get some gathering missions that we know we can do at our own pace. Believe me, it's gonna be very exhausting when you want to get all these missions done, and gathering missions are actually the easiest ones to do. So there's that, and we're all done with that. Now, those basic missions, you can do them at your own pace. You don't really have to rush them. Honestly, the amount of rewards you get from them is not much. Now, there is a mission over here by Christy. Christy, over here, is actually one of the required missions that you need to do in order to get the chapter started. So, let's actually do this. It's quick, right? Yes, it is. Oh, good, I've been looking for you. The name's Christy of a K. I'm the operations manager for Frontier Nav. Now you requested I brief you on the whole Frontier Nav deal. Sound good? Yes, I'll listen. Excellent, I like your curiosity. Always remember that Frontier Nav connects us to the land. And like the rest of Mira, it takes dedication and curiosity to really understand. So then, first lesson, there are several different types of data probes that can be installed at Frontier Nav probes placement sites. It's vital that you keep that desired application in mind, because each type of probe yields different effects. What's more, placing the exact same type and grade of a data probe in neighboring sites will amplify the effects of each probe. Now, I could just stand here and make you listen to a long, drawn-out explanation, but I think it's better that you just try out each one for yourself. Indeed. So let's go and track this. Remember each data probe you install out in the Eastern Gate plane? Yes, I do. Good, I can see why you're on Nagi's shortlist. So if you ever need to verify its exact location, just access the segment map from your comm device. I'll point out a pair of placement sites in the plains past the East Gate that you can chain together on the Frontier Nav grid. Head there and install a data probe at each site, okay? But I don't want any probes installed there. You'll need to change them to the same type. That's how you get the chain amplification effects. You swap around data probes using your comm device, just select the corresponding site on the data probe map. Frontier Nav map. If you select swap the data probe, you can pick from all the unused data probes you got. You do have unused probes, right? You take a few mining probes just in case. They're on me. Just don't go spreading around my generosity. Your assignment will be to travel to specified sites and install data probes there. Just make sure that all three of your installed probes are set as mining probes. You'll figure it out. It's much more clear in action. Christy's quest is a long one, and in fact, it's actually one of the longer regular quests you can actually take care of. Now, there's 4 types of quests in this game. Story quests, basic missions, affinity missions, and normal missions. All of them can be put together into segments that actually allow you to, well, do missions. If you want to check for missions in the map, you can actually look the map and actually check around the mission area. Now, I'll be blatantly honest, there are certain missions I'm not going to be doing yet because we don't have access to the items yet, and we're going to be focusing mainly on Christie's mission because hers is the longest by definition, and I'd rather do that now rather than later. Now, is there a reason to not do all those missions? No. Regular missions don't exactly yield the most experience out of all the things in the game. Most of the experience you're going to be getting is from other quests, so yeah. Anyway, since we reached level 10, we can actually equip better equipment. Now, actually, I can equip a titanium sword if I want to. However, as you plainly can see, it only gives me Piscoid critical up instead of anything else, and it's never actually a good thing to have. However, the titanium sword, the regular one, is actually better in damage output than the other one because it has melee attack up. Let's go ahead and equip this and purchase it. Thank you. Now then, we actually have the ability to get a new assault rifle, so let's actually go equip a new assault rifle for this because it's actually very easy. Now, normally I prefer attack over accuracy because I usually never have a problem with accuracy hitting. If you want higher accuracy to hit higher level enemies, you can do this, but it's not generally a good idea. Now, you can equip the wear as well as the shop as well, since it's very easy to do. However, you want to reach level 15 to get access to experience bonus. The experience bonus is actually a very good thing or experience boost. Sadly, though, combat gear is literally the best way you can get that, and unfortunately, we're not level 15 yet, so we can't actually boost our experience rate. We are going to have to wait on that. Besides that, though, we can actually go and check our arts. Arts have been updated thanks to the fact we actually have Tornado Blade. We can upgrade it a little bit. So, there is that, and we're pretty much good for Tornado Blade. Now then, there are some characters we have that we've gotten access to. A lot, actually. And there's some that are also grayed out. We can't have access to them yet. This mission requires you to have Marry Me as a basic mission. Sadly, that one is random, and it's a pain in the neck to get because it's mission control. Other missions here are easy to get because you need to reach the required level. Now, that's pretty much easy to do, but it's generally better off that you just do things that you can. Now, typically speaking, in these missions, I'm going to be blatantly honest. When out of all the party members does not need as much affinity. In fact, all you need for his affinity is 1 heart of affinity. So, outright speaking, out of all the characters in the game, he makes it the easiest choice when you want to deal with just easy affinity grabbing for him. And you don't have to worry about too much. Also, his unique arts can be easily gotten through affinity missions. Affinity missions are the only way to get unique arts from the characters. Now, let's actually go and do what we're supposed to do. With Christie, we need to go to Frontier Nav, and then change this to a Mining Probe G1. This is actually very simple because we have a lot of them stocked up. This allows us to get actually more Meridium. However, we're going to need to go around the map and deal with our basic missions. So, we're actually going to be going to the other spots on the map in order to actually get there. Big warning, a lot of enemies here can be very, very high level, and some are actually site-based, so be careful. There is a way to avoid this, however, by using the move of Shadow Walker that Elma has. Shadow Walker basically makes you completely invisible to all enemies. However, it's time-based, and you don't generally want to waste your time doing that. Now, there is a basic mission on the way there with Nathan. Normally, I'd recommend it, but I'd rather not because you're actually going to be coming up to a level 18 enemy, and it's never good. So I generally don't recommend doing that quite yet. So let's actually head to where we need to go now. Primordia, you need to actually explore the entire map. The entire map to a good degree. 15% is what the game told us to do, and we can actually do that easily when you check out the map. Now, keep in mind, though, that there are a lot of enemies that are higher level than you. In fact, over there, as you plainly can see, they will kill you if you get too close. So try to keep out of their sight, because their sight is actually annoying. Now, crayon jellies, we need to go after anyway, so I might as well grab these while I can, because there's 2 here. We are actually very close to where we need to be at, and having 4 party members makes this a lot easier for us in case we run into enemies. FN sight. And let's go and mash this all the way up and get this all the way up. No mashing. Alright, with this done, we actually have another segment, and we can actually use the Frontier Nav immediately to actually get this mining probe back into this. Very simple. There we go, we have a 2-link. However, 2-link does not give you the maximum amount. You want to have a 3-link. So, the other one is quite a walk away, actually. Now you're probably wondering, why don't this nuclear attack you compared to that unique monster? Or rather, that tyrant. Simply put, big monsters will not engage you in battle unless you hit them first or you have the same height as them. Yeah, they generally ignore you, and it's not generally an issue nonetheless, compared to Xenoblade Chronicles 1, where a giant Sopulos will actually attack you and aggressive towards you, is a big size difference. Size matters in this game, and bigger the enemy is, the more likely to ignore enemies that are smaller than them. So don't really worry about it too much. You'll be just walking around and running around entirely. Don't even bother trying to get these level 21 enemies because they will kill you instantaneously. And I generally don't recommend fighting enemies that are like 10 levels above you because you don't have the gear ready to actually save yourself for this. Siam Lake, actually pretty good. So in case you're wondering if you want to get more segments or rather get areas unlocked, you want to actually go after areas that have segments that require it. First, let's get this site first, and I'll explain it when we get back to the Frontier nav. So, as you plainly can see, there are some segments that actually have their own little survey as well as their own map shortcuts. Some of them have raycons of treasure, others have unique monsters or tyrants, and some even have, well, missions. You want to do this because, outright speaking, if you get them done, you get actual points for this. This is actually one of the better ways to get your segment up, and Primordia survey rate will go up as a result. 15% is required to do so, so generally speaking, I try to start clearing out the right side first, and then we go to the left side. That's just generally what I prefer doing because, outright speaking, it's easy. Also, the fact that you know the game by heart, you can actually check out to make sure you don't have to worry about dealing with segments badly. Now, it's just generally better that we just get this out of the way first. First, let's go and go back to Primordia's map, and then actually go and get the segment done and get this done. Now, I would go back to Christie, but we want to get another one of those mining probes out of the way, because you can actually get a 4 link very close by if you go to the 30% one by the other one. So it's going to take a little bit of a walk, however, enemies are not actually going to really hit me that much, so I'm not really worried too much. Big warning about Tornado Blade, by the way, you can actually hit enemies that are higher level than you, and you will actually get yourself killed for it. Just try to keep an eye out where you're going so you're fine. Yeah, there's actually a lot of spots that actually will kill you if you're not careful. Now, there are segments that you can actually check. Some of them have unique monsters level 25, however, there is actually a replacement site down below if you actually manage to go and sneak your way over to there. It's not generally easy to get to, so I'd recommend be careful because the bigger enemies will not engage you at least, but the smaller enemies will engage you in battle and it will kill you if you're not careful. Now you're probably wondering, I should have taken fall damage, right? No, I did not take fall damage at all. In fact, I completely was fine. I can't explain that without the story, but generally speaking, you're going to be fine jumping from high heights. You never have to worry about it too much. And that unique monster, by the way, this Flash, is actually one of the enemies that you need to go after later in the future. But I would not say outright you're too concerned. I can't explain any of the fact that why we have not taken any fall damage yet at all because, well, story-wise, I have to make sure we keep ourselves okay. Now, in the first game, yeah, you basically knew that you did not take any fall damage. In the original Xenoblade Chronicles game, if you fall from a high height, you will actually kill yourself, and it will actually be very painful. Now, why is that we don't take fall damage is something that's based in the story, so let's ignore it for now. There is actually another mine probe placement site around here somewhere. There's one right over here in 115. Some placement sites, though, can be out of the range, such as ones that are above ground, or even sites that, unfortunately, are quite high up. Or rather, high up and also unable to be gotten to because of certain circumstances, such as the map not allowing for it. You cannot get those yet, and you're going to have to wait for a certain ability to actually get the access to. So there is a placement site here I wanted to grab, and it's right over here, actually. It's actually pretty close. So, yeah, let's just go and get that done. I haven't done any fighting yet because, frankly speaking, enemies are too high level for me to actually deal with, and I'd rather not. So, Mining Probe Site 115 is actually over here. So let's go ahead and do this. By the way, in case you're wondering what the funny movement is, I'll show in the next bragging site what everyone did in Xenoblade Chronicles X because it was funny. But besides that point, this one segment is done and we actually allow us to see the treasure as well as We Are Soldiers, which is a quest that you need to do with Elma. So, yeah, pretty easy to do so, but I'm not generally concerned about that mission yet because we didn't reach level 12 yet and we have not reached that. So let's ignore it for now and not bother with it. These are level 23 enemies are actually very scary and I don't generally like fighting around the level 23s quite yet. I need to wait until I'm high enough level to actually deal with them. So, there is actually some stuff around here. There's actually Acorn Apicus that you want to deal with. There's a ranged attack you get access to if you manage to complete this mission. Ranged attack is actually very powerful and actually very useful. Let's go back to our ground gear. And go to our Soldier Assault Rifle. As you can see, if we had a slot, we can actually equip this item to it. Sadly, though, since we have no slots, you cannot equip augments. Yeah, not fun. Anyway, we're going to skip travel back to an area we've been to before in order to get access to the sites that we need to get to. As you can see, I have 4 links now, and I can actually get there very easily. However, you want to go 16 instead. We're back at 16, and as you can plainly see, level 6 enemies can really engage us, and I'd rather not. There is actually a placement site that's around here that's actually very close. So, let us actually just get there, and it'll be fine. However, I'm going to do some fighting because I generally need to, and it's not hard. Sorry about that interruption briefly. I, unfortunately, was not exactly... I was just having a coughing fit, and I'd rather not cough in the middle of recording because it's not proper, and I generally don't like it. So, we're actually near the mining probe site. Honestly speaking, I had to cut ahead because it's just a walk over here, and we've been around this area before. I really don't like showing areas we've been to before, so we're not going to really worry about it too much. There is some enemies around here that are level 18, but I'd rather not worry about it. So, let's actually go and get this done. Now, if you look to your right that you see on screen, you see a giant enemy. Yep, that's not exactly good, and it's one of the super bosses of the game. No, I'm not kidding. With that done, we have a 5 link available to us. Let's just go and get the mining probe put there. Very good. As you can tell, I'm now gotten a 30% increase as well. And then there's another one over here that you can do and actually get a 5 link. And 5 links is really good because Specialist. This allows us to get 3,000 mining every single 15 minutes. Now, mining, it's random depending on when you want to get it. Now, me blatantly honest, how it works is basically if you manage to get certain segments done and not be in the menus. If you're in the menus, the timer does not continue. You're gonna have to actually get yourself moving around on the map in order to get Millennium outright. Because, frankly speaking, you're gonna have to stay outside the menu, and sitting around doing nothing does not allow you to get more segments. In the original Xenoblade X game, you could do that and get away with it. This game, not so much. So there actually is some extra spots that we can actually do. Also, we're getting close to 15%, so yeah, I'd rather get the 15% done now in this episode, as well as get Chrissy done because that's required for Chapter 4. Now, the other side quests around New LA are very small side quests. I usually don't worry about them too much because it's not generally an issue. But besides that point, we need to make sure we're careful around this area. I think there's a treasure around here that we can get. White whale debris is found around here. If you want to check out where the white whale debris is, it's not easy to find. But if you see something on the map that looks like you can actually grab it, you might want to go to there immediately and actually get it. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the debris that you want to go and find allows you to get access to other mining probes if you want them. Some even give you battle points. So, there's actually a trailer over here, which you want to go after because it's actually a quite good one. Let's go and grab it. This one has 20 experience, 20 credit, 2,000 credits. However, the credit experience is actually quite useful for us, especially given the fact that we need it. Sadly, the one that we want to go after is actually climbing up a hill. So, if you want to do it, normally you can do it the other way, but I would usually just try to climb like this because it's actually very fun and easy to do. However, you can't actually do that yet. You're going to have to go around the other way in order to get to it. It's never been an easy thing for me. Honestly, this map can be convoluted and complicated if you're not used to the game itself. Because unlike Xenoblade 1, you're going to have to keep an eye on where you're going. Especially if enemies are higher level than you, and it will generally one-shot you if you're not careful. Some enemies only pop in if you get too close. I'm not kidding. This game is known for that, and especially in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, which is more painfully known for that. Having a good peak, I'm on level 11, which is actually pretty good. The recommended level to fight the Chapter 4 area is level 15, so we actually do want to grind up some experience in order to get there. Now, there is something up here at the White Whale Debris, which actually did crash land down here. So let's go and climb up the stairs and actually climb all the way up to the tippy top, because getting up to the top is a long, long walk. Now, it should be right here. All right. With that done, treasure increases, as you can see, it increases way more, and we got a mining probe G4. G4 is actually way more powerful. You get more Meridium for G4 items, so if you get that out of the way, you can actually get a lot more Meridium by doing this, and honestly. All right, I had another coughing fit. Thanks, universe. I don't know why you keep doing this. I really don't. I hate it. So, it's probably because of the exhaustion from yesterday. Thanks, universe. Whatever. So, let's go back to the alien wreckage and see if we can actually get something out of that, because I don't know where I was at before, but you generally want to get a lot of items done, and I think it's around here someplace. I think it's right here. Yes, it is. There is a unique monster around here someplace as well, so keep an eye out because tyrants are a little bit more sketchy. This one done? Very good. More Primordia, as you can see, we got battle points for doing that one as well. Yeah, you want to generally keep an eye on where you can actually go and get debris done, and getting everything debris done is actually pretty easy, and also, you're recommended to actually get the map completely cleared out because you get rewards every single time you reach a certain segment point. As you can plainly see, like in the map, you can actually go and check the survey rewards by pressing Y, and you actually get a storage probe for 15%. It's actually really good. You also get yourself some credits if you reach 20%. So, in general, it's actually better that you get everything done. Now, this area is home to something else around here, but we need to be careful around here because climb up here, they're going to run into level 30-something enemies, and they will one-shot you no matter what. And since they're dang Rexes, they will kill you instantly if you get too close. I generally recommend that you keep a distance away. Some enemies, as you plainly can see, will actually engage you in battle, and never good. The boss of the Rexes are patrolling the base. Yep, this is where you find bosses of Rexes, so there is some points that you want to actually be careful, and also areas that you want to go after. I generally just try to explore the map as much as possible, because if you don't explore the map as much as possible, it's a lot more complicated to actually get everything done, and it's generally a big, big headache. As you can see, those enemies are sound-based, so we have to be careful. So let's go and pass by them and get out of our merry way. There is actually a treasure around here, however, they're near the Grexes, so I can't actually go that way. It's still very annoying. Honestly, this is one thing I hate about Xenoblade Chronicles X is the fact that, unlike Xenoblade 1, where you have a segments that you don't know where you don't want to go, this game's a lot less forgiving when you want to go around areas. Now, in general, you want to be down around this area because, honestly speaking, this actually is an easier area to go to. It's actually a site over here. If you get to it, I think I can get more areas in the map open up. Thank you. BC actually gave you something out of there. However, we are not near a probe site, so it's not easy. Probe site, ironically enough, is all the way up there, so we can't actually go and get it. Instead, we're going to have to ignore it for now and not deal with it. The probe site will be gotten at a later point. Ironically enough, you can actually just sneak around and actually avoid enemies if you want to. Thanks to our new jumping height in this game, it actually makes things a lot easier in comparison. However, getting caught by an enemy, you will instantly die. I'm not kidding. In fact, a lot of the times I've gotten killed is because of enemies being a mean, mean pain in the neck. As you can see, these enemies are, well, generally around my level. I can actually engage these in battle and get away with it. However, since there's so many enemies around the area, I'd rather not. This trailer is actually a quite useful trailer because I believe this one has battle points for me. Nope, it had a lot of money and is also one of the more experience-heavy ones. So, ironically enough, if you go back to the place that you were found and crashed at, there's actually several mining probe sites you can actually get to. Ironically enough, there's actually a lot of mining probe sites around the area in the front as well. Westgate Lane actually is home to another mining probe site that you want to go after first because having the front and south, east, west, and east entrance mining probe site open is a lot more beneficial to you, especially if you want the map open to you. So there's actually a white whale debris over here that you want to grab first before we head over there. Now, we can actually go all the way down and actually get to that one mining probe site. It's actually pretty easy. By the way, in case you're wondering what I was saying about Xenoblade Chronicles X, if you mash the A button, well, everyone did this. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It was actually fun and entertaining back then. So, yeah, people did that a lot, and honestly, it's pretty entertaining. Ironically enough, in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, if you fell in the water, you got no fall damage, so ironically enough, if you fall in the water here, it doesn't matter. Still can't explain what it is yet because, unfortunately, story pretty much locks you out of just telling you every information. Believe me, I want to tell information. 107. So, ironically enough, there's actually a lot of enemies over here that we can actually engage in combat. And actually, I'm going to do this because these enemies here are easy to take care of, and we can actually do it very quickly. There we go. Probably wondering, should I go there? No. You're probably wondering why. Well, it's a bigger reason. One is the fact that the enemies are high level. Anyway, let's use Infuriate. Ling got to level up, and we got to warn survivor cards. Which is ironically pretty decent, but whatever. There's actually a treasure over here I wanted to go after and grab before anything else. I cut the battle out because, honestly, it's a long battle, and I'd rather not waste spinning battles. And no battle points for me. Unfortunate. Anyway, we're done with that. Let's go back to Christie and actually get that mission done. Ironically enough, it's actually pretty easy to get back to the base and actually get back to Christie easily. Probe-fessionals are it's actually a pretty long quest, so keep an eye out where you're going. So, get over here, and Christie's right here. Christie has her own segment of quest lines, so be careful. The probes are installed and set up as mining probes. Perfect. You work fast. I'm sure that's part of what Nagi sees in you. Yeah, I'm a downplay. Lucky it worked out. That's actually pretty good for Affinity. That humility will serve you well. Never lose sight of it. That said, a low confidence doesn't hurt either. Try setting your comm device to display the Frontier Nav mode. You should see 3 sites circled in red and connected by link lines. That's a 3-line link site combo. It boosts the effect of each of the data probes by 30%. You get link combo up to 5 neighboring sites at the same data probe type set. The effects will be amplified to 50%. An 8-probe link will grant you an extra 80%. See where this is going? The more data probes that you have the same type installed in the neighboring station sites, the more efficient data nav you have, and your related assignments will be. So, I think you got to hang all this chain data probes jazz? Yes, I can. So if people's make teaching a pleasure, well then, I say that concludes your first assignment. You can have this research probe, by the way. Don't ever say I didn't get anything. I'll teach you what's the next one next. Okay, the same way. I'll point you a new here now probe site, and you'll go install a probe. And then you'll use a comm device to change the site to a research probe. Then on top of that, I want you to go and find an unexplored territory known as the Rock Cavern. Good luck. As you can see, Probe-fessional is a long one, so that's why I'd rather do this quest now rather than later. Also, you reach a certain level, you actually see there's certain missions are available to you now. You do it. As you can see, I actually got that probe site out of the way, and I don't have to worry about this research probe area. However, so if I change that probe, I lose the 50% outright. So it kind of does suck that you lose the research probe, but only have to change it for the mission right now. You don't have to actually keep it like that permanently. If you really want to, you can actually go after another data probe set if you want to. It's not easy though. It's definitely not one of the easiest things in the world. And honestly, I generally don't like the fact that certain probe sets are not available to me. If you want to get to another probe site, you have to go over to the Rock Cavern here, and it's not an easy spot to get to. That done, that mission should be done now. Okay, off the dang thing. Okay, let's go and get out of here and actually go to where we're going to go next. The closest area is Sickle Rock Rise, which ironically enough is where you want to go first. There we go. We're actually near Sickle Rock Rise, and as you can see, crazy. Let's go and try to get over there as fast as possible because this area is a lot more unforgiving. It's raining right now. There is a tyrant around the area, the rain. However, I generally don't go after tyrants that are above my level because I will get one-shot very quickly, and I'd rather not get one-shot here, and so let's just ignore that for now and just get out of our merry way. Ironically enough, we can actually fight these dang sloods if you want to. However, I generally don't do that right now because we're just trying to explore the area of the map, and map exploration is actually one of the more exhausting things in the game. Okay, so I'm Mar. There's a unique monster around here. Be careful not to get attacked by it because level 33 will one-shot you no matter what, and sight-based in this area is never good because it can lower itself down and you will actually get caught and actually get killed for it. You need to make sure you get at least entrance to the rock cavern, otherwise you will get hit. Let's just go and enter the rock cavern. There we go. Rock cavern has now been explored, and we actually go and leave. If you want to check out this area, you can. However, as you plainly can see, decently high-level enemies. Not exactly a good idea to go around this area because these enemies are a dang nerve-wracking thing. Now, can you actually go after this area and actually go and explore the map? You can do this. Nothing is stopping you from checking out the map area. However, it's not exactly a good idea. As you plainly can see, there is a wreckage over there, however, we cannot get it. Yeah, you gotta climb up. And climbing up leads you to enemies that are above your level. Ironically enough, at nighttime, these guys are highly aggressive. So, yeah, I generally recommend that you be very cautious where you're going. As you can see, that guy will not engage you in battle around here yet. The Jade Scorpio actually ignores you for now. However, as soon as it turns nighttime, they become a highly aggressive enemy that will attack you no matter what. It's generally better off that you just make sure it's daytime when you're in here because dying is not fun here and it's never been fun. Nothing is stopping you from going after wreckage that are actually technically above the level. As you can see, I gained 50 experience and 6 battle points. Really useful to have. Well, I missed an item that I needed to grab. Thanks a lot, me. So, you can actually go back around here and actually get another one of those pearls. Pearls are only found in the rock cavern. So, I'm gonna go back up there and grab the other one because, honestly, it's safer for me, and I don't like going this place that much because I never really liked Rock Cavern that much. Honestly, out of all the caverns in the game, early game, it's not been my most favorite area in the game, so yeah, there's that. Honestly, you want to come back here later in the game because once you reach level 30, you can actually take care of this area entirely. And you don't have to worry about enemies fighting here. So, let's go and get this last pearl. There we go. Bargain top. Alright, good. Very easy. Anyway, let's go back to Christy because we're actually done now and we can actually leave. Thank goodness, because that mission was big, exhausting, big time. We've actually reached the requirements that we need to get in order to get the next chapter unlocked, so we can do that if we want to. However, the recommended level is 15, since you are going to be level 15 needed to do so.
I see.
Yeah, I'd recommend that you wait on that. Christy. Welcome back, Rick. Rock Cavern looked like a pretty mystical place. Folks here in town were all blown away by it. Heh, you seem curious how could I have seen it without leaving New LA. Well, by accessing the research probe you installed, they can view the data it amassed. For civilians living here, that's their only way to learning about the outside world. The probes you were installing aren't just a way to track down parts of the white whale lifehold. Sure, they serve as a source of hope for the future, but they're also helping people today. I hope that uncovers just how important your work is. Makes sense? Confirm. I like the fire in your eyes. Oh, and you also receive sightseeing profits if a lot of people access your research probes. New blades need all sorts of equipment, and a little extra income never hurts. Discovering unexplored territories like the Rock Cavern will get lots of people up to access your research probes, so keep an eye out for them. What else am I forgetting? Use that one probe, Meridian mining should also pick up steam. You may eventually reach the limit of just how many Meridian you can hold. In that case, special data probes, or known as storage probes, can help. They raise the limit of how much Meridian you can store. Let me give you one as thanks for showing me the unexplored territory I wouldn't have seen otherwise. The mission is now finally done. We got a storage probe for that, mining probe 2, and research probe 2. Just remember that, like any other data probe, simply carrying around that storage probe won't do any good, and you put it in actual use, so accessing the comm device as no tenure at its probe site, just change the install probe to a storage probe. Phew, that should cover the basics. When more new assignments come in my disk, I'll be sure to send you your way. Each one spreads out our roots, and the mirror is that much further. Alright, energy clip as well, so actually pretty good. Honestly speaking, that's a lot of missions done, and we actually got a lot of things done. And storage probes are actually quite useful. For example, let's say I want to throw a storage probe down here. You can do that, and you get more storage from this. Now my max cap is 9,000, rather than a lower amount. And also, this does get affected by the effects of your probes as well. So in fact, if you really want to, you can link storage probes together, and you'll get much more storage as a result. It's very easy to do, and honestly, it's a pretty easy thing to do. With all that done, we've pretty much done everything we need to do. Now, recommended levels aside, I don't really worry about recommended levels because story-wise, you can actually get a lot of level ups quickly if you manage to get things done. So, besides that though, if you're probably wondering how in the heck do you get augments, well, it's actually pretty simple. AM Terminal. AM Terminal allows you to develop, manage your AMs. AMs are actually quite important in order to get more equipment and better equipment, in fact. And whatever equipment you have equipped onto your characters, they'll give you more AM levels, and actually getting more will actually give you, well, upgraded gear as well as lightweight series for that, as well as assault level 3. Yes, pretty much you want to get a lot of these sites and actually things done outright when you want to get these sites out of the way. For example, if you want to get Grena to upgrade, you're going to need to equip the Greta pipes. Also, you can actually develop new gear. However, gear like this is a long thing to do. Believe me, a lot of people spend like hours on end just getting gear done. If you really want augments, my best recommendation to advise you is to get the special augment and experience boost first. This is not exactly hard to get. Boosting your experience amount is actually one of the easier things to do, and you want to get experience boost on your character because armor gear is actually pretty easy to do, so you can track it while you want to. However, getting the gear and items are not easy. Aetheryte is also one of the more annoying things to get. How do you get Aetheryte, you may wonder? Well, data probe sites. And you actually see on the map where you can actually find them. And ironically enough, you can find them in Primordia. If you want to check what you can get from mining, you can check the mineable resources. As you can see, you can get mineable resources by just checking the area that you want to get to. If you see an area that you want to mine, you can do so. The world is your oyster. So, besides that though, we're pretty much done with everything here. So, in fact, let's actually head back to the base. Alright, with all that done, I think we're going to stop here for today. Next time on Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, we will be going and starting the next story mission and actually leading up to the next area. See you all next time.